All right, welcome back to another episode of The Late Show with T and J. My name's Jovan. We have Tanner over here. We come in every Monday, and we're just on a vibe. Tanner, how we doing today?
Like you said, on a vibe. I'm vibing.
Got your beverage?
I got my whiskey.
I
It's
see.
not tea tonight.
You
It's
switched
whiskey.
up. You switched up. That's not tea in that glass, huh? I switched up too.
What do you got, Mom?
Tammy, what you got?
It's grape Kool-Aid. Like what? You didn't
Got
tell
some
me.
great drink up in the building.
I love.
I love that it's grape drink, bro. I really do.
What's funny right now about your screen is that it's like when you move, it's gonna cut you out. So you're totally gonna look like that older parent who doesn't know how to use technology.
Because I am.
Hey,
somewhat.
facts are facts, and just let it be. All right, Tanner, who do we have here today?
All right. Well, I already said Mom, so right below my screen right here is my mother, Tammy Bluewolf-Kennedy. Yeah, she's a legend. We're gonna be grilling her a little bit. Also, just to give you a little heads up, there is going to be a 90-second speed round of questions.
Oh, geez.
Mm-hmm.
I got some good ones. I'm really excited about them.
I'm excited just as much.
Hi, mommy.
I'm kind of petrified right now.
You should be. Tammy, you know better. This is us we're talking about.
It won't go past rated R at best.
Oh yeah, no, we can't do X-rated. First of all, that's your mom too. Okay.
Yeah. All right, move on.
Moving right along.
Moving right along.
All right, so we have Tammy here. I have a couple questions for you. We'll start with kind of how we first met as our collective. Me kind of joining your horde of family. Do you want to give your side of the backstory a little bit?
Oh my goodness. So you guys you met in college and you didn't really like each other at first. I remember that. And then, life happens and you kind of started hanging out and then you found common interests and you guys became.
We found beverages.
I remember you hanging out with the kids in like Sierra in China, always wanting to come hang out at the dorm with you guys, and I'm like, no, no, not yet.
Not yet. No.
Not time for this yet.
No.
I don't know did Tanner tell you that he grilled us all before you guys showed up that first time?
No.
Yeah, because we were going to be meeting Sierra that day. He's like, yo, nobody hit on my sister. It was a whole problem instantly for him.
She was 15 at the time, but still, I had to go around the floor to everyone I know she was going to be seeing. I was
made
like,
laps.
I made threats. I made promises.
Yeah, you did. A lot of them. Unwarranted at that. But yeah, so I did hang out with Sierra in China quite a bit after, like once that summer came where I was abandoned at your place.
You lived with us? Very?
Yes.
Yeah, you kind of moved in.
Right? With my 5 outfits. Hey, can I use your washer for a moment?
I think one thing that I always think about that specific summer is when Sierra snuck out and you were sleeping in the barn.
Oh yeah.
My mom was furious, and she goes out.
She was.
She was hella angry with you because she thought Sierra was up there with you.
I didn't do nothing. My thing is, the reason I was even in that barn is I felt like I was already in your space too much. So I was like, all right, let me find a little corner to just, hang out. I had Wi-Fi up there, so I was able to watch my shows.
Yeah.
So,
we also adventured into the barn, and you said that you wanted to sleep in the barn because
I didn't mind. It was summer. It was nice out.
What is it called? A moon window or something?
It was really nice. Whatever I was peeking out because it was like perfect moon, like right there. It was really nice. It was summer too, like, so I didn't really care.
It's not even our barn.
So
Don't
part
worry
of
about that.
part of me being so pissed, well, one, because Sierra was still like an infant in my
Yeah.
eyes. Well, she kind of still is.
No, she was. She
Uh,
wasn't of legal age.
She was
yeah,
like
and
16, I think,
not our,
by
it
that
wasn't our
time.
barn. Like you guys were not. You like all my kids knew you don't go in that barn because it's
Right, but
I
mom,
wasn't your kid
listen,
at the time.
nobody.
if
How
you're
long you?
spending the night at
Oh,
my house.
listen, listen, listen.
I felt like I was in your space, and I wanted to not be there.
All right, listen, Linda's. Listen. So we moved in there when I was 13.
Okay.
That's what I
Oh,
remember.
really?
Yeah. So
Holy
that entire
crap.
time, 13. I'm 29 now. I'm turning 30. So since then, the only people to be there are the ones that mow the lawn.
Okay, but if anything happened, we'd be
How would
responsible
they know?
because we're the only ones here in, bum in Egypt.
But
We're in New York. It's really not that
all
much.
I was doing was sleeping. Like, that was it.
I would be
Maybe
more
smoke a
worried
bowl or
about.
two, but that was,
I would be more worried about when we have family get-togethers and all the kids are over in the parking lot,
yeah.
the driveway,
We
squeaking
are.
around and playing games. And
We've already had to replace the windows with the screens, anyways. But yeah, I know.
Hey, that wasn't me though.
Yeah,
all right,
true.
I'm not saying
True.
I've been
Got a whole new
inside
crew
that
now.
house. I'm not saying I've been inside that house, but I've got a good
Don't
look
tell
at the
me.
house.
She's got a whole see no evil.
It's nice in there.
Tell me.
All I'm saying, those Wisconsinites are a little greedy with that house right now.
we keep cutting Tammy off. We got to do better.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So you got mad.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't remember what I said to you guys other than I just remember being mad.
I remember you being like
You
really
put on
pissed
your
off.
mom voice.
Cause I was like, she's not even up here. What is going on? Cause at that point I had just fallen asleep. So I was like, wait, what? Wait, I'm alone. What? I was just taken aback, really.
Oh my god. You know what's great about that story too is literally right after that, Sierra pulled up and tried to sneak back into the house.
She did. Everyone was up by that time too.
And she still tried to play it off like she was there.
There was a whole
No, it wasn't
conversation that
me.
night. I
It wasn't
remember
me.
it was like 3 a.m, and there's a whole conversation going on. Like, I think that was the same time that it was decided, like, yo, I gotta go home. I think that was the same night where we were like, yeah, Javon, you gotta go.
We gotta get you back. Shit's about to go south.
it was, but we've had many a good year since then.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
I
All right.
always feel welcome in your home, Tammy.
Good.
Thanksgiving, even though I don't celebrate Christmas, I'm always welcome around that time. You guys have been there for me so much. Like, you more so than anyone else, and I want to talk about that. Okay, because your boys, okay, your 3 oldest boys are assholes, and I want you to know that, right? I want you. I think you knew, but I wanted you to hear that from me personally. You boys are jerks, and they have been ragging on me for years. Like,
It's a pack mentality.
Stop. I always tell them to stop.
you do. You're the only one who's had my back. I made that very clear last time. I called you a saint because it's true. The only one who's been there for me. Tanner still be ragging on me, and you would tell him, "Yo, cut it out, all right?" Like, we're both damn near 30, and he's still being childish.
Dude, don't even try to play innocent over here.
I like any conversation that makes you look like the bad guy. I do like that.
I think a lot of people like that conversation.
There's a lot of good conversations that happen that way. But yeah, so let me be the first to say thank you for always covering my tail when they're just on me. Like, and you've heard their jokes. They're
Yeah.
not for the faint of heart.
No.
Oh, don't look to the
I
side now, Tanner.
I don't know.
Oh,
That was a
oh.
long time ago. It's you know
Sudden
what?
stroke of it. We've been regaling for the past 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm pretty sure your memory's fine.
I still plead the fifth though.
You're wrong to.
I can, because
It,
you're so whenever the boys would make any kind of racial joke, it's yeah, you're kidding, and maybe you guys have this friendship and this relationship where it's okay for the two of you
Mm-hmm.
to joke that way, but it's still not appropriate and it's still not a joke. And when you joke about things like that, it normalizes it.
Mm-hmm.
It gets stuck into your vocabulary. It's the first thing that wants to fall out of your mouth when you're with other people. And when you're with other people
Cute.
and that comes out, you're gonna get beat down. And I didn't need my kids to, if you just listen and do what I tell you to do,
I mean,
but
Tanner knows at this point, like if ever there was a moment that went too far, I let it be known in some fashion. It's usually a death stare of do it again. and that's where there's a breaking point. But other than that, like one thing that we talked about in previous episodes is that's how both of us grew up, in between dealing with those minority based jokes and things, so it became a coping skill to laugh about it.
mm-hmm.
um I know for myself at this time I don't really make those jokes as much as I used to, but I'm not as hot-headed as I once was. And I think the same goes for Tanner at this point now too. Is I'm I know, hoping on a prayer here, but
there's still moments we need to be able to
we
learn how to control.
but I think that it's still okay to laugh about it at a certain point. And I say that because you can't let it always get to you.
Doing a podcast. Hold on, sorry. Glenn's over here talking to me. Come say hi, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
He's like, no.
I was like, did he jump ship?
Oh.
Hey, Glenn. He just,
Who's that?
how we doing? It's Jovan.
Hold on.
Yeah, the bum that was living on your couch for 2 months.
Gotta be more specific. There was a few.
Oh, yeah. You're not wrong. You guys have an open home more so than I have ever seen.
No, we don't.
All right, one-sided.
Yeah.
Mom does, but not so much.
But what I was saying is sometimes you just have to laugh about it. You can't let it always get to you because you can't change everyone's ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
and accepting that some people are ignorant and you can't change them. All right, hey, I'm gonna laugh at your expense because you sound dumb. That's kind of where I am personally at this time. Like, I don't become as angry as I once was. Don't get me wrong, I still get upset.
Mm-hmm.
But after I've said my piece, there's nothing else for me to do but laugh about it.
Yeah.
That's for me.
Yep.
I can't say that's going to be for everyone. And people still have a lot of their traumas that they still have to deal with, while that's something that I've personally targeted for myself. Because I've dealt with it quite a bit, the racial targeting and things like that. So I laugh about it now because people sound dumb.
Yeah. I still think it's really important, I think maybe especially with friends and family, because you are comfortable with them and you can say whatever you want to say, and they love you and care about you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think especially in those moments, it's still really important to let them know that's not okay. like, you can't be talking like this. I mean, you don't have to make it a whole lecture, like, okay, now
Right.
I'm giving you the history, and now this is what we're going to talk about for the next 17 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have to speak up and say, all right, let's not go
Mm-hmm.
there, because it's not appropriate. Just
Mm-hmm.
and move on, you know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I find that's fair.
Yeah, it took me a little while to get to that point with
You're
Jovan
a
where I
dick.
don't make those jokes. I like. There's sometimes there'll be a little stereotype in there, but it's nothing. Not even
Oh yeah, no, nothing what it used to be.
close.
Good
Not even
gravy,
close to
man.
how it was when we first started our friendship and hanging
But
out.
again, we hated each other, so we went for those target areas, you know.
Right. Because
We
I mean
both said some stuff
that
like
Thanksgiving, yeah, that Thanksgiving when I first brought him around everyone, and like I know exactly the line that I said when I
bro, I
introduced him.
got eaten alive.
Like, I was like, "This is Jovan, my black friend."
Yeah, and
As-
from there it was downhill.
Yeah.
Cause then Denver hopped on like, yo, this is Hanyo.
And see how you guys act and how you talk. That is a reflection on me.
Not really though.
You guys are.
Yeah, and I'm a reflection of my mom.
Like, this is not
Hey,
what
I
I
don't know.
taught you.
See, that's the thing because like I
but
know.
isn't it though?
No,
You told them to get their opinions out, right? Say what's on their mind. Hey, that
Yeah,
just so happened to be what's on their mind at the
in
time.
an appropriate way.
again, I still blame Dave.
Hey, someone fudged the paperwork a little bit.
Honestly, I think from me, it was like kind of how you said what I dealt with growing up with. Like for me, it was the intercultural racism,
Right.
being light skinned, having hazel eyes, brown hair, and very, very, very light skinned, and not having a thick accent, talking a different way, playing baseball and soccer.
Yo, soccer is fun, first of all.
Yeah.
Baseball's boring.
And I know, like for some reason specifically, I got made fun of a lot for the pants that I wore. People don't understand. Like I grew up with hand-me-downs. We would go every now and then to go school shopping. That was very rare because I mean, you had
It's once a year.
Yeah.
Really, for school shopping.
So a lot of them were hand-me-downs.
Oh,
They didn't always fit.
I
They were
had
sometimes a little
hand-me-ups.
They're good hand-me-downs.
I had hand-me-ups. That's what I get for having a younger brother that's taller than I am.
I mean, I was dressed.
Might have been some grass stains.
That is right there.
Yeah. Which something Jovan has always wanted to talk about was your thirst for knowledge.
Yes.
So that kind of goes with his question. What mine kind of goes into is thirst for knowledge and continuing your academic life with a lot of the things that you went through, as far as having a family, having the four of us, losing dad, and then still sticking with it, still having that ability to stick with it.
Mm-hmm. How did you do it is what I want to know.
Man, if I had an answer for that, I had to. Like, there was no other choice. There was just me. So there was no just sitting back and feeling sorry for myself and I can't do this, I can't handle it, so I don't. Like, it wasn't, it couldn't happen that way.
Right.
I had 4 kids, they were all little, I had to take care of them, I had to work, I had to make sure they had a roof, I had to make sure you had hand-me-downs. So there was just never, there was not ever a moment where I could let myself say, I can't do this. I mean, and that's not that I didn't feel that way, but I had to kind of like compartmentalize it. So this is how horrible I'm feeling right now, but this is everything I have to get done. So this has to get dealt with first, and then you deal with all this other stuff later. One of the things that I thought, especially like right after your dad passed, was really important for me to do, because like I said, I'm really good at compartmentalizing things with things that I can change and deal with, and I'll do that. things that I can't change, I just have to put it in a box, and there it is. And I knowing how I am, I'm very practical that way. So I knew I had to take care of my kids and I had to keep functioning. But I also knew that this grief was too big to put in a box. That I had, had to be one of the things that I dealt with so that I could take care of my kids. So I made sure I went to counseling. I made sure the boys went to counseling. And that was huge to kind of help me talk through it. But what was the bigger thing that helped is during all that counseling, you know, they give you, there's still so many books out there for widows and widowers and, you know, how to deal with grief and whatnot. But none of them really worked for me. And the thing that really helped me the most was going back to our own cultural traditions, you know, and, you know, doing his death feast 10 days later and doing that year of mourning and doing the 1 year death feast and going through all of these protocols specifically for dealing with grief helped me process it in a way that worked for me.
It gave you closure to, especially with that setup. It sounds like, you know, because you've got your big feast and everyone works together, so you've got your family all there, and then, you know, you come back again in a year where you have another feast and everyone's there, and it's all about that closure of, all right, this has happened, I've dealt with my grief, you know, over such an amount of time. And just everything that I've learned about you is just so inspirational. And it's funny that you mentioned some of the things that you did, because that's how I deal with a lot of the trauma that I deal with today. Is I've found that books don't work for me. I know all of that, you know, that's constantly reiterated and all those things, but that's for one standard of people. Like, and I am definitely not that. So like I said, I laugh and I compartmentalize as far as, all right, what can I do and what can I do? And when I can't do it, let me just toss it in a closet and I'll deal with it another day. That's future Jovan problems is what I say. Because, you know, he's smarter than I am. He's smarter than current Jovan, so he's got this. So I just pushed that to the side, and then it took therapy for me to realize that I can't always force it in the closet. I can't always just sweep it under the rug. There are moments where that grief does have to be handled with everything else at the same time. And I found I worked better that way, because I then look at it as the same thing. All right, clearly there is something I can change about this, so let me do that. And that becomes my main goal. I find that's probably why I've always been, you know, so close to you in regards of just feeling like you resemble my mom, which resembles me. Like, I followed everything that she does, and you two operate, you know, along the same lines. You know, you've had, you know, your young children's all together, and then death of her husband at the time, dealing with, you know, 6 of us, and just working nice and the whole 9. And it's like, I see her and you, which is why I care for you so much. So I just want to let you know that you're an inspiration to me, and I am glad to have you on our show. But your son still sucks. See, my thing is, I can only say so many nice things, and then I have to be mean again.
Gotta keep everything balanced.
Way to go, Thanos.
All right, so I think Tanner wanted to do.
Yeah, sorry, real quick though. The worst thing about all of that is appreciating that as an adult and not having the capacity to be able to appreciate that and see all that as a kid growing up. Because we were all selfish little assholes. I mean, we're all still pretty selfish to a certain degree in a lot of ways, but we all definitely didn't appreciate, you know, enough of that. And so like, I feel like, I don't know, it's just, there's a guilt that stays, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't
Good.
appreciate it until I was older, but
Good. She says
then
good.
it's recognition and respect for what that person's done in my mind.
hmm
And it's deserved.
Well, you guys may have been self-centered.
You can say assholes.
I'm
You can
like,
say
what
assholes.
kid isn't self-centered though?
Yeah, what kid isn't? But especially when you're that young, like
Mhm.
that's all you know.
Right.
And as a society as a whole, like we don't talk about death.
Mhm.
You can talk about sex and you can talk about religion and you can talk about politics, and it will be contentious discussions, but you talk about them and people know how to talk about them. We don't talk about death. We don't talk about grief. We don't have the words to put how we're feeling, how to articulate that.
Mhm.
And if you don't know how to frame it and how to look at it and how to handle it and how to process it, you're going to have a hard time with it. And as kids especially, these are huge feelings, and you don't have the words, you don't know what it is, you just know it's this big and it's this heavy and it's this painful, and what do I do with it? So, oh yeah, you are going to be little jerks, but
Yeah.
that's just the way society is right now.
Right. And I lashed out with anger. That's how I dealt with it.
Oh, me too, bro. Me too. Goodness.
You were
Shit, I'm still angry.
you were a child. You were Tanner's nickname was Taz for a reason.
I believe it.
Devil.
He still has those tendencies. My
And you were
goodness.
not bad. That it wasn't because you were bad. It's just that you were always running at 110 all the time, and you had no filter.
Nope.
And when you were happy,
Still doesn't.
you were happy, and when you were pissed, you were pissed, and when you had something to say, you vomited all of it. Like there was no holding back and framing how you were going to say something. It was just like, here it is. Here's how I feel. Boom. So you're better at that now.
A little bit, yeah. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Again, some speculation on that one.
But you're also, out of all of my kids, you can articulate now how you feel, and you understand yourself, and you communicate better than all the rest of my kids. And I have a lot of kids.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
I
I have two.
Gee, that is not a question you asked your mom. Oh no.
My plan was like, I was gonna grow up, I was gonna marry a Native man, and I was gonna have a bunch of Native girls, and I was gonna perpetuate my line, and then all I had was boys, over and over and over again. And then I got pregnant for Sierra, and did the sonogram. They're like, "Oh, you're having a girl." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And then I had a girl. I was so excited. And then I got married again, and we had Jeremy, and Reese was a little bit of a surprise. But I figured, out of all of these children that I have, I should be having another girl, right? Like statistically, how does this happen where
Yo, my mom had the same issue. She ain't got but one of them.
and only one girl?
Right.
But it actually kind of worked out pretty good, because
Sierra was hellfire.
Sierra, I love her. I love her.
That's a discussion for another day by itself. We are running out of time a little bit, so Tanner had some speed round questions for you.
Yes. 90 seconds. Jovan's gonna time it.
All right, let me know in just one moment. All right. I
Go
know
ahead.
I'm springing it on you out of nowhere, but all right, you ready? That?
I hope so.
Go. All right. Ariel or Jasmine?
Yes. Jasmine.
Jasmine? Okay. Why can't we tickle ourselves?
Why can't you tickle yourself?
Yep.
I have
Yeah.
All right.
I have
Moving
no
on.
idea.
Nickname your parents called you.
They always called me Tammy.
All right. Last song downloaded.
Oh my goodness. The last song downloaded, it was Faith. What is her last name? She's that native singer that Sierra listens all the time. To all the time. But so she's.
You're taking the rapid out of this.
I know. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah.
That was the one.
Favorite
It's a
holiday.
good thing we went for the 90 seconds.
Favorite holiday.
Halloween.
Halloween. All right. Butts or bulge?
Why? Why?
All right. Moving on. If Donald Trump offered you a hug, would you accept it?
Oh, fuck no.
Marvel?
Girl.
Marvel or DC?
Oh, Marvel.
Okay. Favorite comic?
5.
ElfQuest.
All right. Who's your favorite child?
She let the time run.
Oh,
She just let the time.
It lagged at the wrong time.
Oh no!
Wow.
Computer froze.
Wow,
Dang.
that is awesome. I asked you who is your favorite child with the last question and it lagged.
That's kind of perfect timing and
You are
bad
all
timing
my
at the same time. Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, that kind of does it for this week's episode. It was great talking with you. We just have a couple things that we wanted to let the people know about that we do have coming. We're gonna get into our story of living together, but we'll leave that for down the line. We'll come back to that. Another segment that we were thinking of doing is Throwback Vibe, where we talk about everything and anything throwback. So from 90s cartoons, 80s movies, 70s music, the whole nine. Just gonna have an open discussion about some of those things that we grew up listening to or watching. And then we'll do a top 5 once a week, one category where we'll both list off our top 5 for that section and kind of just discuss why we chose said people or said items. I'm really looking forward to that one right there because I feel like that one is gonna be some of the funniest stuff that comes out.
Yes.
It's always funny to figure out what people have in their top 5.
Yeah. Also, do aliens exist? Are lizard people running the government?
Oh, apparently we've got the conspiracy vibe as well.
Conspiracy theories?
We've got a whole lot that we want to just chat about. So that's
Lizard
what we're gonna
people.
do.
Yes.
Tammy, any final words for the people today?
I think you're both wonderful young men, and I love you both. And this is fun. I'm glad you're doing this.
Thanks, Tammy. The only one that cares. All right, that's been this week's episode of The Late Show with T and J. We'll see you guys next Monday.
Bye. Love you, Mom.
Love you too.